October, the one month that I wait absolutely throughout the entire year. October is exciting because it marks the beginning of the countdown. The countdown to go home. The countdown to meet my near and dear ones. And the countdown to celebrate my favorite festival. Any guesses?
Diwali.
Yes. Now I know that the concept of Ghar Wali Diwali is somewhat cliched, but who can miss the lighting of diyas, going out shopping for sweets and flowers, setting up lights, and being the noisiest house in the entire neighborhood? That's Diwali at the Ghorki residence. Last year was no different. The minute the holiday calendar was published, I started planning my Diwali days. But due to an unfortunate surprise, the flight tickets during the Diwali season skyrocketed. Not bogged down by this, I decided to take an adventure and go by train. Little did I know that this adventure is going to have a lot many twists and turns than I could have imagined. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. One express train, a cab ride filled with half a dozen people, and 2 hours of constant live location sharing is how I reached home for Diwali last year. The story begins on 25th October, the last working day before my Diwali vacation, and also the day I was to board this train. I went to the office and decided that I would leave by 4:30 p.m. But swamped with work, I didn't realize by the time it was 4:40 p.m. 4:40 p.m. Oh no! Wasn't I supposed to leave at 4:30? It's fine, I guess, is what I thought to myself. After all, what is a delay of 10 minutes anyways? Time taken by Satish to gulp down 1 bottle of beer? Or the time taken by Subhash to explain pathways? Insignificant really. But little did I know that those insignificant 10 minutes would create a ripple effect that would turn out to be huge. Battling the infamous Bangalore traffic on a Friday evening, I got home and grabbed my luggage and started booking the cab for the station. By the time I got the cab, I was already 30 minutes past the time I had planned to leave. But what is 30 minutes anyways? On a normal day, 30 minutes is nothing. The time it takes for Akshay to comb his hair, or the time it takes me to get out of bed every morning. But that was not a normal day. By the time I got into the cab, it was 5:30 p.m. But fortunately, I still had a buffer of 30 minutes to catch my train, which was scheduled to leave at 8 p.m. at Bangalore station. With a sigh of relief, I decided to take a nap. But after the 1 hour when I woke up, I was shocked to see that I was still 12 kilometers away from the station, and Google Maps estimated that it would take me another 1 hour to get there. Now this meant that by the time I reached the station, it would be 7:45 p.m. So the next hour was spent by constantly refreshing the screen of Google Maps and praying for the Bangalore signals to have mercy. But as fate would have it, I missed every green signal. I even took a wrong turn, and to make matters worse, it began to rain. Somehow, I reached the station at 7:55 p.m. With 5 minutes in hand, I rushed towards platform number 8. But the moment I stepped on platform number 8, the engine of the train gave a loud whistle, and the train began to move. Then dawned the realization. I had missed my train. If only I was a minute early. 1 minute. What is 1 minute? 60 seconds. Really? The time taken for Aditya to swipe right on Tinder? Or the time taken by Jatin to impress someone with his poetry? Trivial, really. But that day, those 60 seconds could have costed me my Diwali. Now, in sadness and despair, I began to retreat. But I was interrupted by a cab driver who had witnessed the entire incident. He suggested that he could get me to the next station on time and help me catch this train from that station. Now, before we go to the cab journey, let's get some facts straight. I was at Bangalore railway station The time was 8:30 p.m., 8:15 p.m. Next station was 153 kilometers ahead, and the time taken to get there was 11:20 p.m. by Google Maps, and the train arrival time was 10:40 p.m. So that basically means that I would have to go constantly at a pace of 70 kilometers per hour if I were to catch that express train, that too in Bangalore traffic. And what did I have? An old Tata Indica and an old cab driver surrounded by several people who also wanted to get to the station. Have you ever traveled in a general compartment of the train or a Mumbai local?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was close to it, except that it was twice as bad and 10 times more expensive. I was pushed to this right corner of the cab with 4 people already sitting there, and every time the cab driver hit the brake, I would jump forward. But fortunately, thanks to the heroic driving of the cab driver and the brave driving, I managed to get there by 10:04 p.m. And yes, I boarded the train. There was joy, there was happiness, and there was an important lesson. That day, I was fortunate enough to get some help. That day, I was privileged enough to be able to afford the cab. But will that be the case every time? Do I think of 10 minutes as just 10 minutes? Absolutely not. Every hour, every minute, and every second counts. We tend to think of time as this insignificant and free commodity, especially when we talk about it in small instances. But it is these small instances that accumulate and create big problems. Therefore, we have to be very cautious and value time and use it judiciously. After all, time, tide, and train waits for none. Back to you.